Hello, this is Dr. Harper. This video is a management operation to memo assignment, Memo1-Answers for the Speedy Pizza forecasting. So let's bring up the memo. In the assignment memo, Alice and Andrew Anderson have successfully operated Speedy Pizza in a popular ski area in Colorado. Although they believe sales have been increasing, they seem to be presenting problems. So let's go to the answers here. Let me highlight some important phrases in the memo that they sent us. First of all, sales have been increasing for both the dine-in and carry-out, but the carry-out seems to be presenting problems. They have asked us for a monthly forecast, and let me bold that. They want a monthly forecast. Make sure you give them what they ask for. And then the carrot pizza, along with some insights of the nature of the demand. So those are the two things they specifically asked for to make sure, we have to make sure that we do answer that. That would help them with their planning. So that gives insight on what type of insights. So therefore, the sales have been increasing. They've asked us for a monthly forecast, and they ask us for some insights. Okay, the Andersons have indicated to me that the demand for the dine-in slightly fluctuates with the year, but seems to be quite predictable. However, the demand for the carry-out seems to be highly volatile all year. This has caused supply problems. So the demand for the carry-out seems to be highly volatile all year, cause supply problems. So again, that's an indication of how we should respond to them and what we should say to them. And then we have the data. Now down here, what you're asked to do is analyze the problem. So an analysis of the problem is more than just solving it or getting the forecast. It's actually analyzing it. And I gave you a video on the analysis. Prepare a response memo to them, adequately and appropriately responding to their requests, and I even put it in here, of monthly forecasts, and insights for future planning. Prepare a separate technical memo to me presenting the details of your technical approach and analysis. And so this would be the response memo, and this would be the technical memo. Okay, some general points here. You have monthly data. Use all the data provided. Don't use part of it. And do not aggregate unless for a purpose. And sometimes I've seen in the past people will aggregate data and say, here's the annual time series, and that's fine. But make sure you use the monthly time series for the forecast because that's what they ask for. Second is analyze. Present the analysis along with your results. A result is not an analysis. So the analysis is along with your results. Many people just presented, not so much this semester, but sometimes people will just say, here's the answer, and never go into it. Well, the analysis will include insights. Okay, 6 comments. First of all, use of decimals in this case indicates detail not able necessarily to support. In other words, like right here, if you're talking about 7,734 pizzas for a month, and you're forecasting 7,500, well, 7,500.5 pizzas means that 0.5 pizzas means has no meaning. And not only does it indicate detail that you can't really support, is 0.5 supportable? No. Well, this is a business communication. Don't communicate anything you can't support. And don't communicate anything if you can't support it because you're opening your door up for criticism. 2, only use a visual. What I mean by visual is either a graph or a table, which we'll look at some here in a minute, for a purpose that has value and address the purpose. And notice I have 2 things here. The purpose has value. In other words, there must be a reason for why you give a table. There must be a reason for why you give a graph, and then state the reason, state that purpose. Present visuals clearly, limit abbreviations, present near text, label, title, etc. Now, what I mean by clearly, first of all, limit abbreviations, and I would say don't even use abbreviations. especially in a memo. When it leaves your desk, those memos could go anywhere, and abbreviations could mean a lot of different things, even within the same company. Present your visuals near the text. Don't have a visual up here and your text down here or something like that. Put them together. And we'll see that here in a minute. Make the labels appropriate and create a title that's also appropriate. Now, the responses for your results, technical is for your approach. Don't mix. A lot of people put all this technical detail in the response memo, and that's inappropriate. And some people just have the technical memo just for the answers. That's inappropriate. Don't mix them. You coordinate the memos, even though they have to be separate, you coordinate them. In other words, if you say something in the response memo, the technical memo needs to say why you said that, okay, to support that information. But they are separate because the response memo goes to the client. The technical memo is an internal document. They're two different sources, two different locations, and two different destinations. In the technical, only present the approach to the solution, not steps that do not apply. For a long time, people would say, I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. I finally did something that worked, but they never really said what it was. So you don't really talk about what doesn't work. Talk about what does work, because that's what you're carrying forward. Okay, now having said that, let's look at some of the answers. Now this is the blocking forecast, which I suggested. Now I know the true forecast over here because I just input error in here, and notice the error here is really small. But what I mean by true forecast is that I generated this time series and then added in a random number generator to have small amounts of randomness. Okay, and so you're going to get very, very close by using a blocking technique. Now, in the video, you have a line plot here, you have a stack plot. If you seasonally adjust it, there's the actual seasonally adjusted trend, and notice there's a little bit of variability in here, very small random component, but you have a trend component that's very obviously a continuous trend. Very few people, I don't think anyone this semester really did this and talked about a continuous trend, but we did it in the homework. Okay, so before we leave, let me just show you some examples of past memos. And the point here is not the answers, but the appearance. For example, this first, and I block out the names because the names aren't important. This person here just had the forecasts, and there they are, and then they had the insights down here. Very simple, very straightforward. That's perfectly fine. Another person had the forecast up here in a line, in a table, in a horizontal table, but then they had a line plot, and down here they gave more information as far as means is concerned. So they gave a little bit more information with a graph. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. Now, notice this is a line plot, and also notice the years are different colors. That's good. And they had a legend over here. Now, these three people included a stacked plot instead of a line plot, which is perfectly fine. All these are good. But this one had the stacked plot down here with the forecast at the top with conversation. This one has a stacked graph with the forecast at the bottom. This one has them side by side. Now in this one, even though you have them side by side, notice they gave all the data in here. Now again, I said give a chart, give a visual with a purpose, state the purpose. In this case, the person really didn't state why they were giving all the data. Okay, but down here, they talked about the insights, but they didn't talk about the data. So if you give data, make sure you give a reason why you have the data, or else this becomes inappropriate. Okay, finally, people down here, three of them, gave both a line plot here and a stacked plot, and they gave the forecast somewhere. Okay, again, this one over here is nice because they had different, they numbered it, 1 and 2. Okay, so here we have a line plot and we have a stack plot, but if you give both, make sure you have a purpose for both of the graphs. a purpose for the line plot, a purpose for the stack plot. And then you have your forecast down here. Again, over here, this one has not only the forecast, but they have the data. If you give the data, there's a purpose for giving the data. So here's some insights on how you communicate. It's not a communication course, but it's a business course. Communication is part of business. So make sure you be very careful how you communicate things. You communicate them appropriately and also effectively. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. I hope this helps. Between now and the next time I see you, I want to urge everyone to be safe and take care.